Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. JDK 26 is here. It's new, and what does Java 26 then contain? Like, what does it contain? It contains something. It contains so it actually when we're marking something final, then it actually means final. And let us look at that one. The first little thing right here. This means that we will actually get a warning when we are trying to use reflection, and then we are opening up a field which is not opened up. And I have a much cooler code example that I'll show you in the end of the video. But here we can see the examples of. We have a class. It has a final integer x. Then we use reflection, and if you are using reflection, then please stop doing that. It's really bad. You should not do that. If you know that if you're doing something, if you're doing reflection, then you're doing something naughty that you should not do. Okay. So here we have set accessible true. That means that now it is then now we makes it mutable instead of final, and then we can go and set the field to something else, and then now in the new version right here, then we're actually getting a warning. So that is quite cool, and I'll just show how that would look like in just a couple of minutes. I'll just say one thing right here. If you are upgrading JDK to 26, you also need to upgrade Gradle to 9.4.1, and you can see here what the changes are in the top right here, and you can see that it actually supports Java. Gradle now supports Java 26, so that is the largest thing in this Gradle package right here. So upgrade your Gradle and download the latest and greatest Java JDK. And then the next thing we're going to look at, the next feature is 504, remove the Applet API. And it has been there so long. It is a bit sad to see it go. So the JApplet is now totally gone. It's we will have like 20 seconds of silence in the end of the video, and it was deprecated since JDK 17, so it's no surprise, but it still hurts when it happens. Ahead of time, object caching with the ending GC, that's 5.16, better performance, yes, in JDK. Thank you very much for that. Support for HTTP 3. That's quite cool. In the HTTP client API, that's cool. Thank you very much for giving us that support. I have not prepared any example with HTTP 3 right now, but it is good that they keep up with what's going on out in the world. So then we have G1, GC, garbage collect, and that means improve throughput by reducing synchronization. Yes, I will take your word for it. Of course, we can go look and read a bit about it, but it's usually a bit boring when it's about garbage collection. Then they have PEM encodings of cryptographic objects. Second review. That's quite cool that they're adding some security in the Java library. So usually we have to add a lot of libraries if we want to encrypt something. But this is actually encoding. This is just a PEM encoding. Okay, there's nothing to do with encryption. It's encoding. People make a PEM breakcode. Okay, but that is still cool. So, because usually we would have to use a dependency to do this. Again, it's security. It's something we need to know about. So yeah, but it's only preview. So whenever it comes to the real version, maybe I'll make a video on the with some hands-on examples that actually use that code. Then we have structured concurrency. Thank you very much again for that. That means we can perform better. Our code can perform better. And again, it is not in. It is just in a preview, so it's not there yet. Lazy constants. This is a lot of fun actually. I'll make a separate video on lazy constants. The short story is that if we want to initialize something, if we have a static final member variable, which is then loaded whenever the class is then loaded, and then but with the lazy constant, then we don't have to load it right away. Then we can only wait with loading it if it's needed by when it's needed actually. At runtime instead. So that is the short story about that. But I'll make a separate video about that because it's actually quite fun. You just need to enable your the preview features in your IDE. Okay, so then we have Vector API, 11th incubator. Okay, but it's good with the vectors. We know that we use vectors, for instance, with we use vectors for a lot of stuff, for instance, LLM. So if you have embeddings, then you are getting vectors back, but usually we don't need an extra library for that. But they have some extra vectors API in the cooking pot. It's not ready yet, 11th incubator. And then we have primitive types and patterns, instance of and switch. I've actually already created, I made some videos about this for like, I think it was years ago. It has been on the way for a long time, where we could use primitive types in the pattern, instance of, and switch. It's quite cool. I might make another video on that. It's it's a lot of fun. But Mike, you promised to show us a cool example that you made with this new feature with reflection and the warning in the log. Yes. So I've created this ice cream shop service right here. It has a member variable which says final public final boolean are ice cream free, and then it says false to begin with, and then we can buy an ice cream. If the ice cream is free, then the cost is 0 right there, and if not, then the cost will just be 30 like this. Of course, we could have used an else instead. Let us do that, Mike. Okay, say else. Yes. Thank you very much, IntelliJ. And of course, yes, we've got a warning right there. And then we print out that now we are buying an ice cream. And yeah, so now we have a test. So the first test we will actually just run. We'll just buy an ice cream with chocolates, and we will just then assert that the expense is null and it is greater than 0. So the price may change in the future. So I'm not testing for that it's 30. I'm just testing that it's greater than 0. Let's try to run the test. Let's see what happens. Yes, we got the ice cream. It says buying an ice cream, chocolate. It costs 30 kroners, for 30 Danish kroners. No weird warnings in the log. Now we are fudging the ice cream shop. So because right here we are using reflection. Again, if you're using reflection, please stop doing that. It's yeah. Of course, if you want to live your life dangerous, then you are doing reflection. But you really shouldn't. Also, out of respect for your coworkers and the people that has to maintain your code later on, do not use reflection. There's something that you misunderstood in how to use the library, since you are using reflection. Okay, but so far so good. Here we have a new instance of the ice cream shop. Then we get the field from the class with as a string right here, are ice creams free, and then we set it to, then first of all, we make it accessible. That means that we've removed the final flag, and then we are setting it on this instance right here, and we're setting it to true, and then we are buying an ice cream. Again, we are buying a chocolate ice cream so we can compare the two prices. If one was strawberry, another one was chocolate, then of course we could not compare these examples right here, but since we are eating chocolate ice creams in both situations, then we can then make an assertion that this should still not be null, and it should actually be equal to 0. Equal to 0. So let us run the fudge ice cream scam right here, and let's see what actually happens. So here we have the ice cream scam, and then it's actually green. So we are buying ice cream, chocolate, it costs 0, but what happens in the output? Whoa, we got some output right here. Warning, use enable final field mutation all unnamed to avoid this warning. Okay, warning, mutating final fields will be blocked in the future release unless final field mutation is enabled. Thank you very much for protecting us from all of the crazy people who actually use reflection. Thank you very much for doing that, Java people. Yeah, so we get a lot of warning, we get a lot of noise in the output, and that's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so far so good. We are happy. We now saw what we got with Java 26. So, Mike, I'm already using Gradle and I'm using a Gradle 9.3.1, and I want to upgrade to Gradle 9.4.1. Is that difficult, Mike? No, it is not, my good friend. You just write Gradle wrapper, and then you write dash dash, and then the version, Gradle version, and then space, and then the version that you want. And you want 9.4.1 right now. 9.4.1. After you have pressed enter, then your Gradle wrapper, if you're using a wrapper. If you're not using a Gradle wrapper, then you just run scoop. Then you use, if you're using, of course, you're using Windows, of course. Then you run scoop and you say scoop upgrade, and then scoop upgrade, and then you would say Gradle, and then you get the latest and greatest Gradle instead. So, and then you're happy also. But yeah, it depends of your setup. Some people actually like, most people actually like, if you're controlling the whole CI/CD process yourself, then maybe you don't want to use a Gradle wrapper, but usually you want to use a Gradle wrapper, so you're fixing your Gradle version along with your Java version. But it's a matter of opinion. There are pros and cons of actually logging it to a specific version. Yeah, but that's a whole other story. But right now here, if I go to my Gradle file folder, then I can see I have my Gradle wrapper right here, and you can see that I have distribution URL 941, and just an hour ago that I had 931 instead. So I upgraded, and I'm very, very happy. So the next thing is that because of the Applet API was removed, then of course we should show our respect. We'll do that with a countdown. I found this weird random page, timeanddate.com, and there's actually a countdown feature right here. Respect applets are gone. Move the Applet API. Let us just copy this text right here. Respect for remove the Applet API 504. Let us give it a number also. So 504, and for how long should we give it some silence? Let us give it some silence. Can we just say how many seconds? How much patience do I have? Do I have 20 seconds of patience? Let us create the countdown. Okay, I chose 20 seconds, but we got 40 seconds. That's way too long. So I would actually just say goodbye while we are waiting for this to count down. And I want to say thank you very much for all of your comments. I really enjoy them. I enjoy the comments where you just say hi, thank you for being who you are, and also for I really like Scala. That was also a good comment. Yes, and also the comments that actually show that if I have a mistake in my code. Okay, now there's silence. From now on, silence. And we're done. So that was a silence that we just gave. We just showed our respect for the Applet API, which is now gone. Is it sad? No, it's not really, because no one would use an applet nowadays. Of course, you can still do that. We could still do that. We also have the FX. Still have the FX. The Java FX, and then we have, but usually you would create, the best practice would be to have a static page solution like Angular, Vue.js, or React in front, and then you would use the Java application as a backend, as REST backend, with a lot of REST calls. And remember, in your REST endpoint, you do not want to have the action, you only have the resource, and then the HTTP method will show the action. So if you want to delete, for instance, a user, then your resource will be user, and that means that your endpoint will be user, and then the HTTP method would be delete. Do not add delete user up in the endpoint. Yeah, I was just triggered because I saw that somewhere not so long ago. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon. And please leave a comment. Bye-bye.